Hello everyone, my name is Theta with an 8, and this is our quarterly State of the Show, looking ahead for the winter 2019 season, which began in earnest yesterday. Man, I feel like I've been sitting down for 3 months. I gave a preview of what to expect from this upcoming season during one of the Casual Monday broadcasts, and that plan remains the same. I will not be continuing Casual Monday into this season. I hope you enjoyed that experiment, and that is a segment I want to return one day. Way back when I was originally planning for this channel, Casual Monday is a lot more like what I thought I would be doing. Instead, I ended up settling on the long format deep dives that have actually become the mainstay content, and I intend to continue this. Ideally, though, I would reach a point where I do both. We'd have one feature series that gets the full spectrum episode by episode rundown every week, with everything else I'm watching covered under the Casual Monday Roundup. I can't do that in my situation right now, but it's something I would like to work toward. This upcoming season, then, will be a return to the long format analysis. However, as I am still working down our backlog from my earlier days, we're going to take this opportunity to try something a little different with our selection process. Up until now, I have made a decision based off the premiere episode compared against all the other premieres. That led to the choices of Made in Abyss, Land of the Lustrous, and Darling in the Franxx. The shows I would have chosen for summer and fall if we had not played with other formats would have been Rayview Starlight and Rascal Does Not Dream of Bunny Girl Senpai. I'm happy with all of these choices. All of them have given us just mountains of content to discuss and analyze. So, I'm not dissatisfied with the decisions made thus far. I don't think anything has been wrong about choosing off of the premiere. However, a day may come when we want to take a little more time before settling on the one show that we'll talk about for the next 3 to 6 months. So, this season we are going to employ the old 3-episode rule before making a choice. The first video will then be looking at those 3 episodes as a whole, analyzing the characterization and thematic journeys that we already recognize, populate our initial lists of goals and conflicts, detail the world-building elements that help us understand the setting, and we'll make our first speculations about the remaining course of the series. The 4th episode video will then have the usual walkthrough followed by the other analysis sections, and that will be what each week consists of from then on. Between now and that first video, then, my attention will be on the backlog. The ginormous Made in Abyss finale will be next, and then we'll make some headway on Land of the Lustrous before this winter 2019 season coverage begins. Now, there is always the tiniest chance that I don't find anything suitable. Unlikely, but if it happens, we will focus on the backlog only, and a few videos that I've been trying in vain to move forward. We will then try again in spring, but that is unlikely. So that is the winter plan, and if that is all you came to this video for, you can click away now. Other than winter, looking at the year ahead, there are a few things I want to work toward. One is, of course, finishing the backlog and all the opportunities that opens up. There's a lot of videos I would like to make that I cannot justify spending more time on because of the unfinished work in our first series. Additionally, there are some problems I would like to solve. One is that I'm trying to find some editing help. I'm not particularly skilled at it, but more importantly, it's time that could go instead towards writing more scripts. I'm actually pretty bad as a public speaker. It may not be obvious, but most of these longer videos consist of about 50 to 100 takes. Like, look at my timeline. That is the first part of this last Casual Monday video. Every one of those vertical lines represents a moment where I cut, trimmed, or spliced the camera footage, not to mention all of the clips that were overlaid at the relevant points. All of those represent decisions, which take several seconds of time, and sometimes much longer, and as I stretch this out to where you can see the entirety of the video, it should be clear how many hours are lost to this little program every week. I've slowly changed my process over this past year to make it easier to hand this step in production off to someone else, but as you can probably guess from the size of my videos, this is way too big a task to expect someone to do it as a favor. If and when I ever get around to monetization and all that crap, the first item on the checklist is to hire someone to take this burden from me so I can actually make more content. Let me say now, just in case, that I'm not asking for help, or for someone who wants to help, or be hired, or any of that. I will refuse any offer. My alter ego is super neurotic about his privacy, and I would only deal with someone locally who could edit offline. That's its own problem to face one day, but it's my problem. I don't dislike editing, but it's time and worry that I could better spend giving you more and better content. That is also part of the next problem. I like engaging with you guys. I have a shockingly positive and insightful comment section, and some of you give me just mountains of feedback and analysis of your own. I want to respond to it all, and I enjoy responding as often as I can, but that's the problem. This is also time that is stolen away from working on other scripts. Even then, I wouldn't mind, because I think analysis is best as a shared experience. But as I've talked about before, YouTube comments are a terrible platform for discussion. It's not the content of it. I am strangely fortunate in that respect. Rather, every comment is like a single thread directed at me instead of one giant discussion. Most of what each person says will be seen by a handful of people, with even less adding a nested comment of their own. When I add my own response, it will also be seen by a mere handful, often only the person to whom I'm replying. Sometimes this means I am talking about the same concept or part of an episode in half a dozen different places. Those half dozen people would probably get a lot out of talking about their shared topic together, but instead they end up with only my single opinion. I spend much more time for what is a diminished experience because of how narrow the discussion must be. So, finding a way to engage you guys and facilitate a wider discussion among the really great commentators that already exist is something I want to solve. I hate feeling like I'm giving everyone just a fleeting bit of my attention, but at some point I have to work on the next script or there won't be any new content. Some of you have suggested a Discord server, some have suggested a unique subreddit, some have suggested a live Q&A style discussion. YouTube's little premiere feature that they are rolling out is intriguing in its own way. These all have upsides and downsides, and I need to do the research to find the best solution. My eventual hope for this channel is to extend beyond it, and the final form I have in mind will help solve this engagement problem, but that is a really, really far away, even if it's reachable. So some intermediate stopgap has become a more pressing goal. I'm a small channel, and so lack the critical mass necessary for a lot of community solutions that already exist, but I welcome everyone's input and criticism. I'm not trying to make a decision on this next week or anything, but I do want to constantly improve what we're doing here. I'm still pretty disconnected from the anime community, so there might be solutions I don't know about or am underestimating. That is it. I will see you again when the Made in Abyss finale is done. As always, thanks for everything.